Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? It's me, Mark D. It's a early 12:30 a.m. here in Vancouver, getting to the end of my day and hitting a broadcast. Today I'm going to talk about putting in the reps when you're trying to change behavior, why it's important, and one of the best tools to fight against self-sabotage. And earlier this week, I had to really check myself. Excuse me. I had to really check myself before I completely backtracked and ruined a good thing. Have you ever had a streak come on that was going really well but lasted not a very long time? Things are going good. You're really happy with the outcomes with things, and then all of a sudden it just goes sideways. Well, that was sort of what was going on this week. Working on all my fatherhood powers, really focusing in on being present and applying all the things I've been activating my program, making sure that I'm conscious and the kids are happy, they're playing games, we're doing stuff. My wife and I communicating better, and then something happened. My wife told me that she thought my beard should be trimmed, and I took it really personally. I don't know why. I just dug my heels in. I was not feeling like that was good constructive criticism. And today I want to tell you a little bit about why you should be putting in the reps when you're changing your behavior. So it's important for us to understand why we are doing things. First of all, first you got to have an intention. So then you decide what action to take, what you want to do in terms of what steps to take, what behavior you're changing, and what you're looking for in the outcomes. Now, your outcomes should be within yourself, not in other people, because you can't change what's happening outside of you. You can only change what's happening inside of you. And one of the biggest roadblocks or speed bumps or just plain old walls that gets in the way with changing your own personal behavior is expectations of the outside world, especially when you're dealing with partnerships. So, dads, listen up. I know a lot of you, because I definitely have had times where bit of a slump, not doing well. Then you start getting feedback from your partner. That starts grinding on you. It's getting really hard to get out of it. But eventually you get to a point where you just know you're feeling like heavy. Things are getting darker at home. The mood's changing, and you just really know you have to take some sort of step. So then you do. Congratulations. You did good. Pat yourself on the back. But unfortunately, that's not the final step. So even if you can change that behavior in an instance, which is quite difficult. So if you did, you do deserve a pat on the back. I mean, humans are not good at change management. That's why companies have to have uh, project change managers and change management programs. And there's a whole hierarchy of psychology behind change management, and that's why it's so difficult. So when you have two people involved in, I'll come out here, two people involved in change, and they're activated at this level, right? Now maybe this is the level where there's some griping and groaning, and one person's criticizing the other, or the other person's not communicating because they're burying their feelings down, and there's a bit of friction up here, and this goes on for a while right here, right? Anyone else know what I'm talking about? This is a pretty good place right here in terms of places to sit when it comes to the valleys of relationships. Let's say, the if you're going to go with mountains and valleys, this would be the kind of lower place. This is where you're working from. Now, if one person steps out of there and they're going to a little higher level, and they start doing something that's at this higher energy, then this person may or may not even consciously recognize. But these two people are used to activating here. So there's a cycle, there's outcomes and outputs. And this is why it's so important to understand what self sabotage does to us, and also how we can use putting in the reps to avoid this situation. So as this relationship gets used to this area and this vibe, it feeds off of it. Now, it may not be positive, right? But you get feedback that you're used to. And so when this person steps it up a notch, then this person may not even realize it. And so they try to keep getting the same reaction with the same behavior. But this person's up here going, well, I'm trying to do it differently. But, and usually it's both of them, don't actually know how to act in this new behavior. So this might be new for this person, or maybe it's something that was happening before, but this is new for this person. And this person's down here going, hey, I'm used to interacting at this level. And they're going, oh, I'm up here. But where the self sabotage comes in, where it starts getting a little bit tricky, and this is where, you know, the other possibility is this person goes, "Hey, this is new and exciting and kinda nice. Well, I'll join you up here." And then things are kinda going merrily along. But what I've heard from quite a few people who give me feedback on this is that often that first instance of meeting at the um, newer level of interaction, the more responsible way to be, emotionally responsible, being more connected as a couple, what happens often is it doesn't last very long, especially in the first instance. And one of the reasons is for the same reason they don't go to the gym and get a six pack on the first day. You got to put in the reps. You got to keep going. If you pick up a dumbbell and it's too heavy, you put it back down, you kind of shift it around and put the weights down or change your stance. And the same thing's true. You're trying to get to this new energy, trying to get to a new level of emotional responsibility, and your partner meets you there, and things start getting good. But you're used to being down here and getting your feedback cycle at a lower level. So when this is uncomfortable and you don't know what to do, what happens? You end up dropping down, and then when you drop down in here, that's when you start going, "Oh man, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work." I thought we had there was like a good moment here. What was with that? But it didn't work. But all that's happening is this imprint is very strong. And so to get back up here, we have to deprogram what's going on down here. Right. And I'm talking strictly on behavior here. I'm not really going to address any kind of like emotional reprogramming or healing. That's very important work. And sometimes to sustain this higher level, you really have to dig deep and do it. But I'm talking about basic behavioral changes, and it might just be something as simple as you do the dishes when they're there right away instead of leaving them for 2 days. That might cause like a situation where you're not fighting at the lower level. So when this fail comes down and two people, can't meet at this level for very long, they fall back down. The person who initiated, the person who's conscious, and possibly both, needs to remember that you have to keep putting in the reps. What may happen when you fall down is you start talking in your head, this is never going to change. I didn't do it right. Or you might start projecting and being the victim. They don't care to fix this. They don't want to even meet me halfway. And these are all limiting beliefs. These are all self doubt and ends up being self sabotage. If you're the person who's trying to initiate change, and this is the most important point I want to get across for everybody, it's so important that you change those thoughts. And one of the best ways to do it, as soon as that thought comes in your mind, you go, okay, when I got up here, what was I doing? Okay, I was getting up and I was doing the dishes right away. Okay, so we're fighting again. Oh, you know what? I've noticed the dishes are there. You need to put in the reps. You need to keep doing it over and over again because for both people to get up to that new level of responsibility and emotional change, there has to be repetition, right? Because if you're down here for a long time, that's what you're going to know. And you got to learn to know the much higher space. So that's really important. So what I want to talk about is my beard. And I'm just going to show you a little bit here. I dug in deep. I took it offensive, and all my partner was trying to do was help me out. And I think there was two messages. And I think sometimes when we get these messages that we think are negative, we need to ask ourselves what they really mean. And so I'm just going to show you quickly here. Look at this thing. This is from one of my videos earlier in the week. Oh, yeah, I got hair coming out over here. It's like hanging over my lip. This is not groomed well. And this mugshot is, although I think I'm beautiful, I don't know how I could have possibly thought that this was not something I had to address. Not that there's anything wrong with big beards, but like take care of yourself. I don't look like I'm taking care of myself in that video. As you can see, still keeping it long, trimming it out. And all I had to do was admit it, come back and meet my partner at a new level and go back to doing what I was doing the weeks before, just putting in the reps and keeping them going. So I hope that concept helps. It's really important to know that if you change your behavior, whether it's your kids, your partner, a coworker, they're not always going to meet you right away. And if they do, that's beautiful. Hold on to it, but don't stop putting in the reps because You have to program yourself, you have to practice what works, and you have to figure out what the other person's going to meet you at. Second of all, you just have to know that sometimes it's not going to turn out the way you think it will, and you need to look for the outcomes and see the ones that don't turn out in the exact manner that you thought they would. Hope you enjoyed that little soiree. I hope you can go out and put in the reps. If you've recently found yourself falling off some good behavior or some good cycle that was going really well, and you found yourself in a position where your good streak went sideways, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment to just take a deep breath, close your eyes, think about what you were doing just before that moment. Go back to it, hang on to um, those actions that you took, and do them over and over again. If they didn't work in some way or another, adjust, but keep going at it. Push out those self-sabotage thoughts and just make sure you put in the reps. That's it. I'm Art D, and I'll talk to you next time.